Alright, Can Diaries number 2. So, Thursday, May 16th. I started my day slightly later at 11:30 with a showing that took place in a theater kind of far away from the main action called Le Studio 13, which is west of Cannes. I mean, it's still in Cannes, but west of, like, the Croisettes, the beach where everything is. So I started with a screening of a movie called It Doesn't Matter, an American movie by a guy named Josh Mond, part of the Acide selection, l'Association pour le cinéma indépendant et sa diffusion, I think. Started with this movie, which I had read the synopsis of, and I was really excited by it because it kind of presented itself as like a road movie type thing through the United States, and that's always fun. I like road movies and I like indie American movies. This movie really surprised me. It did not end up being what I expected it to be. It was somewhat of a road movie, but the look of it was something I totally didn't expect. It's a movie that's filmed a lot with phones and like a hybrid camera, like a Canon type camera. Well, yeah, it's composed of mostly videos and like frontal videos and also like videos filmed by the characters, and it looks very much like a documentary, and it isn't. It's fiction, but it's not like anything I've ever seen before in the way it uses our like current filming tools, such as, you know, smartphones and hybrid cameras. And so I like that about it. And the story takes you in, and it's really about a man trying to, it's about two guys, but it's centered around this one guy played by Jay Will, who's a musician initially. And it's been like a couple days now, and I've seen so many movies since then, but my initial reaction was a really good one. Yeah, it just really surprised me, and the acting in hindsight was really good because it did not feel like fiction. It very much felt like a documentary. And at the end of it, there was a Q&A with the film team, so there's like the director, his co-writer, producers, the editor, the sound guys. I mean, there were like 8 of them on the little stage of the Studio 13. So it was nice to see them there and to hear mostly the director talk about the movie, even though I think some of the questions were a bit repetitive. They were all like, what is it like to make a movie based on real events? And like 5 variations of that question, which was kind of frustrating because I was like, okay, let's ask another type of question. Anyways, and it was great to hear them talk about it. It's clearly a passion project, and it's clearly something that is based on strong bonds between these creative people, and that's always amazing to see, and that transpires through the movie definitely. It feels very organic, which is why it works as call it a docufiction, which maybe it isn't, but that's how I would qualify it. And there's, oh my god, how could I forget, there's also animation in it, and it's crazy animation. It's like really, I don't know how to describe it, but it's very odd and in a very cool way, the animation, and it adds a real, grungy, I don't know if that's the right word, touch to it, which I really loved. And I love when movies aren't afraid to use animation mixed with live footage. I really enjoyed that one. It took me some time to get back to the Croisettes and the festival palace and everything, because after that I didn't have any other tickets for the day, so I was kind of looking for tickets on the online ticket office, and I got tickets for another Cannes Classics restored movie, which was Law and Order by Frederick Wiseman, documentary about the police force in a little town in Missouri, if I'm not mistaken. And it was like I don't know if it's 4K restoration, but a restoration of the movie. And I was excited about that one because I really like Frederick Wiseman. I recently saw Welfare last year and I loved it too, so I was excited about this one. And it's very similar to Welfare in the way it's shot and his style and in the concept of it, filming institutions like he does so well. And then he showed up at the beginning of the movie. Wiseman, Thierry Frémaux, the main guy of the festival, presented it and presented Wiseman, and Wiseman was able to talk very shortly about his movie. So crazily, it'll be my second time seeing Frederick Wiseman in person because he was also at the screening I saw of Welfare in Paris last year, and that was a great movie. I unfortunately, I'll say this multiple times during this video, fell asleep a bit because I'm just so tired, which is why today, Saturday, I'm like really taking it down a peg with the movies. I slept maybe like, I don't know, a total of 10 minutes during the whole movie. But I love the movie. I love Wiseman's style. It's just so effective and just letting you see how things are. And he uses close-ups so well. I love Wiseman close-ups. They just like, eyes are the windows of the soul, you know what I mean? You just can peer right into those people even though they're not necessarily saying anything, or what they're saying is, you know, quote unquote trivial or whatever. So great movie, great documentary, you know, he's a true documentarian, I think, and he excels in this style of his. So after that, I left because I wasn't able to get any other tickets, and I did not feel like waiting in line again. So that was that for Thursday. Friday, I had a very early screening, 8:30 a.m. of a movie from the Un Certain Regard selection, my first of that selection, I hope not my last. And it's a movie called On Becoming a Guinea Fowl, which is a British-Irish-Zambian movie that follows this character Shula as she is back in Zambia visiting. I don't know if she lives there or not. It doesn't seem like it because she has like a suitcase and stuff, so I think she might live in, you know, the UK, and she's back in Zambia, and she is confronted with this event, this death of someone in her family, and it's about trauma and about whistleblowing in a way, and about, yeah, family ties and family bonds and family fucked upness. I don't know how else to say it. And the performances are incredibly solid. So good. So good performances. Great, I don't want to say world building, that sounds fantasy. You just really are immersed in Shula's family and in their home. A lot of it takes place in her mother's home. A movie about grief as well, but, you know, to me it's more about how hard it is to be a part of a family and what it means to be a part of a family, which is always very interesting, and this movie deals with it really beautifully. So yeah, I loved it. Great performances again. Second movie I saw was, I'm trying to think, it was a Semaine de la Critique movie again at l'Espace Miramar. Oh yeah, it was a documentary called Brink of Dreams about this troupe of young Egyptian girls who are becoming women in the movie because it takes place over like 7 years. A theater performance troupe that plays in the streets of their southern Egyptian town. So it's a documentary about these girls, and it's absolutely beautiful, and it's very... The girls were there, the girls who are in the documentary, as well as, you know, the directors, 2 directors who direct this one, and some producers for the movie as well, and some sound engineers, and there was a bunch of people from the movie in the room. And the girls who are in the movie, who you are just so attached to by the end of it, were there, and seeing them together, hugging each other and everything, especially after seeing the movie, was so special. It's a beautiful documentary. It's great, I mean, amazingly shot, great structure too, great rhythm. Yeah, I loved it. It says so much about girls and about women and about following your dreams, obviously, and about how that doesn't happen sometimes, and how you have to just... how life is not about just, you know... Anyways, it's a great movie. I really recommend it. If and when it comes out, go check it out. It's beautiful. It gives you a beautiful look into these girls' lives, these women's lives over the span of 6 or 7 years. So, loved that one. Then, I saw 4 movies on Friday. I saw the third movie, which was Desert of Nambia, in La Quinzaine des Cinéastes. I didn't love this one. I mean, to be fair, I was absolutely exhausted by the time I had finished the previous movie, Brink of Dreams. I had to wait a long time between that one and this third movie, and I was just trying to fall asleep. I went by the beach, I tried to sit down, I couldn't fall asleep, whereas I knew I was just like dead tired, so I just went to the train station and tried to fall asleep there and couldn't, because, side note, I'm not staying in Cannes, so I can't go back to a hotel room or anything. If I want to go back to where I am now, I have to take a train, and it just takes too long. So I just had to wait and try to fall asleep, and I couldn't. So by the time this third movie arrived, I was just exhausted. And I kind of treated the beginning of this movie like a nap. I hate to say it, but it's true. So I missed like the whole first maybe 20 minutes of this movie, maybe less. I don't remember exactly, but I missed the introduction basically, so I didn't get it immediately. I was kind of like, okay, this is about a young woman in Tokyo who meets a guy, and that's pretty much it for a while. And you're like, okay, they're together, they're happy. And then it's a movie that talks about mental illness and dealing with that in a relationship. So it's a very hard watch sometimes, and it's very long. It's like 2.5 hours, and it was too long for me. Even by the time I had woken up, I was like, wow, this is really stretched out. The rhythm is takes its time, so I didn't love this one, sadly. It has a lot going for it, though. I'm not gonna say it's a bad movie, because it does have a lot going for it. I just think either I wasn't in the right headspace, or it's just too long. It's 2.5 hours to tell a story that I feel could have worked in the classic hour and a half. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's something I missed, probably, since I slept. Yeah, there's definitely traces of movies like Worst Person in the World, Joachim Trier, which I loved. I love that movie. Talking about, young women dealing with what the fuck am I doing, which, is relevant to me. But this one didn't touch me as much. Maybe, I'm not sure why. I'd have to think about it some more. I think it has to do with the fact that I was so sleepy, but I think it maybe also has to do with the rhythm of it that just didn't bring me in. I just felt like I was watching it happen and honestly waiting for it to end. I didn't love this one, and I didn't love this one. After that, it finished at like maybe 8 p.m. I was rested. I hate to say it. And I started heading to the beach because I wanted to go see the 4K restoration of After Hours by Scorsese, which was playing on the beach. Cinéma de la Plage, there's like a screen that's right on the sand, and they have a showing every night that's like open access to everyone. Like if you're just like strolling in Cannes, you can come. And I really wanted to see After Hours. I've heard great things about it, heard a lot about it, and so I thought, let's go. Why not? I'd already seen 3 movies, and I was like, you know what? I have nothing to lose, and free movie and on the beach. I really was attracted to the fact that it was on the beach, and it was great. I was in the last row by choice. I was kind of like, this is fine. It's a pretty big screen, and it's in English. I don't need to read subtitles, so I can go in the back. And it was great. I loved it. It was really funny. It was really 80s. It was really weird. It felt kind of like, I had like glimpses of like Suspiria or things like that. I don't know what I'm talking about, but it's very funny, but it's also very unsettling, and it mixes those two tones really well, never like being too scary or just too ridiculous, and just like balancing that thing really well. Yeah, very funny, and I kind of get why it's a cult classic. I think it works on so many levels, and it was awesome to see it on the beach, even though it was getting kind of cold by the end, because it finished at like 11 p.m, 11:10 or something. But yeah, that was a great way to end the day. Very chill, very like, okay, this is an easy movie. I mean, compared to all the rest that I've seen, it's very, I love respect to Scorsese, his movies are good, but it's an easier watch, if you know what I mean, compared to the rest of the stuff I've been seeing. So it was nice to end the day with that, and I didn't have any more trains to go home, so I ordered like an Uber, and I went home, and the driver was super nice, and we chatted a bit, and I went home, and I was so tired, and I took a shower and went to sleep. I was supposed to see a movie this morning at 8:30, again, a movie I really wanted to see called The Shameless. It's also part of Un Certain Regard, and I had read the synopsis when the selection had dropped, and I was like, oh, I really want to see this, but I was too tired. I had put my alarm on, and I was like, fuck, I just can't. So I hope I can catch it another day. I don't think I will, because there are so many movies to be seen that they kind of sift through them. But yeah, today I only have movies this afternoon, tonight, which is why I have time to film this, and I slept so much this morning. I woke up at like 1:30 p.m. and I was like, okay. But yeah, so that's Cannes so far, and I will let you know about more when I see more.